30 seconds, round 3 of this 6-round bout. Ten seconds. Tonight in the main event, ladies and gentlemen, veteran Orlando Zulueta has been paired with Johnny Busso of New York City. Zulueta, 92 bouts, of which he has won 56, losing 26. He's scored 6 knockouts. He's a boy who has defeated 3 lightweight champions, just back from Italy. His opponent, Johnny Busso, perhaps an unfamiliar name to many of you fight fans, but a boy who's won 25 of 29, 12 by knockouts, including wins over Dennis Pat Brady. Busso is a youngster who brings nothing but youth, vim, and vigor into the bout with Orlando Zulueta, and we hope that you'll watch it tonight from St. Nick's in New York. Round 4 underway at St. Nick's. Gene Hamilton in black, Joe Baglio in white. Baglio's best combinations thus far. Two middleweights that really know how to duck. They have a minute to go in round 4. They come in with rallies, but thus far haven't sustained any that have caused damage. Twenty seconds left in round 4. Ten seconds. Into the corner of Joe Baglio of Brooklyn, New York, trying to remain undefeated in his 9th pro bout, a boy who had 29 amateur bouts in the Army, where he served for 2 years. His hobby happens to be pigeons. And he has a stable of 20. I guess you'd call it a stable. Couldn't be a flock of 20. Anyway, he has pigeons. The opposite corner, we're looking at Gene Hamilton, who is a fellow that works around rubber, a tire recapper. When he's not fighting, he's a 22-year-older born in North Carolina. Well, 4 rounds have gone by the board. Sometimes it takes fighters 4 rounds to warm up, so maybe the next 2 will really be heated, so let's watch. This is round 5 at St. Nick's. Baglio in white, Hamilton in black. Don't forget the main event. It is Johnny Busso and Orlando Zulueta. A week from tonight, Joey Giardello and Charlie Cotton. 2 weeks from tonight, Randy Sandy and undefeated Rory Calhoun. Another exciting bouts to follow. Baglio is down. It is not a knockdown. Davy Feld is the knockdown timer on the left of the ring. Gene Hamilton is knocked down. 7. Hamilton shaking the cobwebs. We're in the 5th round. We have 1 minute remaining in the round. Baglio in white going for his first knockout. Well, as we mentioned, perhaps it does take 4 rounds for some of the boys to warm up. As a technical knockout scored by undefeated Joe Baglio over Gene Hamilton. We're looking at the back of Hamilton, who actually hit the canvas with a thud, and a very alert commissioned physician on the left side of the ring, Dr. Vincent Nardiello, motioned quickly to the referee George Walsh to stop the bout. New York Athletic Commission physicians do an outstanding job as Hamilton almost is KO'd by the microphone.
Referee stops the bout. The time, 2 minutes and 14 seconds of the 5th round. Winner by a TKO, Baglio.
And so, as we've just been told, the winner by a technical knockout is Joe Baglio. There goes Baglio, scoring his first knockout in 9 pro bouts. And it took the 3rd meeting between these 2 middleweights for Baglio to do it. Joe and Gene had met twice before, with Baglio getting decisions in both bouts. Now he scores a technical knockout as the bout was stopped at 2 minutes and 14 seconds of round 5. Other bouts tonight here at America's oldest fight club. Iggy Maldonado, decision Sapo Ortega of Tijuana, Mexico. Primo Arellano in a comeback won a 4-round decision over Gregorio Ramos Soto. And Jerry Holman scored a technical knockout at 52 seconds of the 2nd round over Jack Letty as they threw punches fast and furious. We're looking at New York's famous press row here at St. Nicholas Arena. A gentleman with the thinning hair is Jack Cuddy of United Press. And as we move on to the right, we come across one of America's outstanding track and boxing experts with the glasses moving the hands, Jesse Abramson of the Tribune, Frank Blunk of the New York Times, a sports car enthusiast and very knowledgeable on that subject, as we now meet one of the gentlemen responsible for sending back their stories to the newspapers. And then it's Bill Briardy with his head down, wearing spectacles, from the New York Times. On to the right, there is Murray Rose of Associated Press. And we can go all the way around the ring and show you writers. Marshall Reed of the Long Island papers, Ken Christensen of other papers, all doing a printed job of what they see at the bouts each week. And a fine job that they do. There is Ken Christensen with the spectacles. There's a vacant seat there that was occupied by Lou Nova, who has a big poetry recital at Carnegie Recital Hall on May 8th. There is Jim Boyack of the Pittsburgh Courier. There is Johnny Palermo, one of the referees. The two judges, Phil Botwinick and Frank Forbes. Forbes is the man responsible for sort of developing Willie Mays, great friend of the Giants center fielder. And speaking of baseball, here on the far side of the ring to the left of the left corner is a former Boston Red Sox, Washington Senator pitcher, southpaw Maury Mickey McDermott, who now is a member of the New York Yankee Club. On some of these stations later on, you'll hear our interview with Mickey McDermott. Very colorful athlete, if there ever was one. Johnny Addie, now we're looking at the timekeeper, Freddie Abatello, talking there and winking. To his left is Artie Schwartz, one of the veteran judges of the New York Commission. Then, of course, George Walsh, you recognize him from refereeing that last bout. Then Deputy Commissioner Patrick Callahan. There is the Chief Deputy Commissioner, Mr. William Kelly. Dr. Vincent Nardiello, who very wisely motioned the referee to stop that last bout, won by Joe Baglio over Gene Hamilton. And another Deputy Commissioner, Joe Tepper. Well, as you can see, ringside is overcrowded. And let me tell you, here at St. Nicholas Arena, most all the seats are filled too, as matchmaker Teddy Brenner pairs outstanding preliminary bouts and main events, and the fans come out by the droves. And the cheers go up here at St. Nicholas Arena for Johnny Busso as he meets Orlando Zulueta in the main event at America's oldest fight club. This is Chris Schenkel speaking from ringside. Happy to have you with us as the main event is about to get underway. Johnny Busso, the 21-year-older from Manhattan's Lower East Side in the left corner, the 27-year-old Orlando Zulueta in the right corner, hailing from Havana, Cuba. And so in just a minute, we'll be getting underway with the feature bout here at St. Nicholas Arena. The referee for this bout, who will be introduced a little bit later on by Johnny Addie, is a former fighter by the name of Davy Fell. We have moved now to the corner of Orlando Zulueta, a boy just back from Italy, where he had close fights with Freddie Galliana in Milan, Italy. And Milan was also the scene of a bout with Giulio Loy. Orlando drawing in the first bout, losing the second. But as his manager said, a hometown decision. Here is a 21-year-old Johnny Busso, whose record is impressive. 25 wins and 29 starts as a pro. He has scored 12 knockouts. And now for the introduction of the two lightweights paired in the main event. Here's Johnny Addie.
Ladies and gentlemen, wrestling here Wednesday night. Anthony the Rocker will meet Killer Kowalski. Other bouts, which also includes a wonderful tag team match. Wrestling here Wednesday. 1 week from tonight, matchmaker Teddy Brenner is bringing in one of the top contenders for middleweight championship honors, one of the great punchers in the middleweight division, Joey Giardello, of Philadelphia, and his opponent, another puncher from Toledo, Ohio, who has scored 22 knockouts out of 49 fights, winning 39, Charlie Cotton. Charlie Cotton, Joey Giardello, 1 week from tonight. Here are the ring officials assigned by the New York State Athletic Commission. Judges are Addie Schwartz and Frank Forbes. The timekeeper, Freddie Abatello. Counting for the knockdowns, George Walsh. Referee, Davey Feld. Main event, 10 rounds. From the east side, wearing black trunks, weighing 138.5, Johnny Busso. His opponent from Havana, Cuba, wearing white trunks, weighing 139.5, Orlando Zulueta. Main event, 10 rounds, another contest to follow.
All right, both you boys know the rules of the New York State Boxing Commission. In case of a knockdown, the boy that scores the knockdown goes to the furthest neutral corner and stays there till I tell him to come out. Is that understood? Okay, shake hands, come on.
Quick instructions by former fighter Davey Feld, and the lightweights are about ready to go as they meet each other for the first time. The underdog is in the black trunks in the left corner, Johnny Busso, 21 years old, fighting the veteran Orlando Zulueta in white. Round one. Zulueta in white at 139.5. A pound heavier than Johnny Busso. Imagine most of you fans are very familiar with Zulueta's style of fighting. He's been on television very many times. He's durable, never knocked out in 92 bouts. Busso has been stopped once, but has scored 12 knockouts in 29 bouts. Davey Feld refereeing his first main event. Busso on black. They have had one like opponent. That was Dennis Pat Brady. Busso fought him twice, won a bout and lost the other. Zulueta also has beaten Brady. The bell ending round one, 10 seconds. A little better acquainted quickly with Johnny Busso, the pride and joy of Manhattan's Lower East Side, as he has a big cheering section here, both males and female. He is one of two children, at the moment single, engaged to be wed. He works with his father in the manufacturing of costume jewelry for ladies' clothes. Orlando Zulueta is his opponent, the 27-year-old Cuban, who has won 56 of 92. He has been a pro for 11 years. That's a mighty long time to be plying the trade, and his record is a very commendable one, having met such boys as Patty DeMarco, Jimmy Carter, Bud Smith, Luther Rawlings, Arthur Persley, all of whom he defeated. Round 2 underway. The favored Zulueta in white. Underdog Johnny Busso in black. Busso's first main event at St. Nick's and his second main on television. Zulueta fighting at St. Nick's, his 5th bout. Davy Feld refereeing. Busso proves there that he is a very powerful youngster. He may be cut slightly on his left eyelid. Yes, he is. A tiny cut over the left eyelid of Johnny Busso in the black trunks. Fleet of foot Zulueta in white. Aggressive Johnny Busso in black. This is round 2. Now there is a mouse under the left eye of Busso. Good punches by Busso. Ten seconds, round 2. Busso now cut over the right eye. Busso in black. After 2 rounds of boxing here at St. Nicholas Arena, Chicky Ferrara and Johnny Sulo have their work cut out as Busso, the 21-year-older, has cuts above both eyelids at the bottom of each eyebrow. Zulueta, his opponent, one of the real clever ringmen, fighting professionally today with his sharp, stinging punches, can be a very damaging lightweight. Round 3 coming up here at St. Nicholas Arena in New York. Very excited crowd cheering the youngster and patting the veteran on the back. Let's see what they do against each other in round 3. Round 3 underway. Busso in black. His cornerman worked on both cuts. Perhaps you can still see a little of the coagulant around both eyes as Johnny turns around. That's Zulueta in white. A minute to go here in round 3. Zulueta in white, known for his master defensive style, has been hit in the head quite often thus far in the bout. He's 27 years old, whereas Busso's only 21. "30 seconds, round 3. And in this round, the cuts have not bothered Busso. Ten seconds. Orlando Zulueta, who follows a long line of famous Cuban fighters. Of course, most modern-day fight fans are very familiar with the former champion, Kid Gavilan, but before that, the very popular Kid Chocolate. Nino Valdez, another Cuban. Black Pico, Miguel Acevedo. The island has sent in many outstanding fighters, especially in the lighter divisions. Zulueta comes from a family of 5 children, is married. He's a fellow that is enjoying New York now, especially with the photography show being on at the Coliseum, as he is an avid shutterbug. Round 4 at St. Nixon, New York. Johnny Busso in the black trunks at 138.5. Zulueta in white, 139.5. If you just joined us, Busso cut over both eyes in round 2. This corner thus far has done a very, very good job. Zulueta unmarked. He's been that way throughout most of his career. 1 minute left in round 4. We'll hear the bell in 10 seconds. Next week, ladies and gentlemen, this is Chris Schenkel inviting you to join us for the main event that matchmaker Teddy Brenner has arranged for you as Joey Giardello goes against Charlie Cotton. Giardello, originally from Brooklyn, a boy who's defeated Langlois, Billy Graham, Gil Turner, Ernie Durando, a host of others. This year he's had 3 fights, scoring a knockout and a pair of 10-round victories. His opponent is a boy from Toledo, Ohio, the only boy to have scored a knockout over Carmen Basilio, and that was during the amateur ranks. Cotton has knocked out Danny Womber, Honeychild Johnson, and Sammy Walker. So 1 week from tonight, watch Joey Giardello and Charlie King Cotton go to work here at St. Nick's. Round 5 underway at St. Nick's. Zulueta in white, Busso in black. Busso is the only marked lightweight. He's using his speed to advantage tonight. Zulueta in white usually has a strategy of keeping out of range, moving. Cut over Busso's right eye has been reopened here in the 5th round. One minute, round 5. They'll get a rest in 10 seconds. A big appreciative crowd here at St. Nicholas Arena, and as the 10-rounder has reached the halfway point, we sincerely hope, wherever you may be, that you're enjoying the action too, and we'll make it a point to rejoin us each week as matchmaker Teddy Brenner brings together fighters of all divisions, youngsters against old-timers, and that's the case tonight as we move in now on Orlando Zulueta. That's his manager, Jaime Wallman, talking to him. On the left, Freddie Fiara inside, and Pop Ryan is the other corner man. Zulueta, the 27-year-old lightweight, English-speaking boy from Havana, Cuba, who has won 56 of 92. This now is round 6 of a 10-rounder. Perhaps you noticed with me in the 5th round that Zulueta became a bit more aggressive. Let's see what he does here in the 6th. A loud-sounding left hook to the body by Zulueta. From ringside, it didn't appear too heavy a shot, as it looked like an open glove hit. Zulueta ripping away inside. Busso with speedy combinations. Beautiful 1-2s. 1 minute, round 6. Ten seconds. A former student of Havana University and a carpenter by trade while in high school, resting between rounds 6 and 7. A boy who at 27 years of age and after 92 bouts tonight doesn't seem to have the blistering speed that he normally has. He still makes all of the master-like defensive moves, but he's being caught in the head by tremendous combination punches. 1-2s by youthful Johnny Busso of Manhattan's Lower East Side. Both boys may be tiring a little bit now as we begin to go down the stretch. They're both puffing heavily in their corners as the 7th round approaches. Round 7 underway. Busso cut in round 2 over both eyes. His cornermen have really been working superbly. Either fighter's been knocked down. Notice now Zulueta has a mouse over his left eye, about the size of a hickory nut. And you notice now it's Zulueta that's moving forward as Busso backpedals a bit, looking to counterpunch. One minute to go in round 7 here at St. Nick's in New York. Ten seconds. In the corner of Johnny Busso as we wait the start of round 8. Johnny Sulo again does a bit of patchwork on the cuts over both eyes. He and Chicky Ferrara have really been in there working. Real professional-like job as Busso turning in an excellent performance in his first main event at St. Nicholas Arena. In fact, his second main event on television. A boy who's fought Dennis Pat Brady twice, Johnny Lissy, Gene Poyer, and it was Poyer who, through cuts, stopped Busso. The other two losses that Busso sustained, Pat Brady and Tommy Marciano. Round 8 coming up at St. Nick's in New York. We're in the 8th round. Hope you're enjoying it. Busso in black, Zulueta in white. Frank Forbes and Artie Schwartz are judging the bout. Dave Fell, the referee. Less than a minute remaining here in round 8. Thirty seconds. Ten seconds. Fans keep cheering for these two lightweights who now have gone 8 rounds with 2 to go at St. Nick's in New York. Johnny Busso again getting a bit of patchwork done over both eyes. He sustained those cuts in round 2. They have not caused him any trouble since, which is definitely credit to the cornermen. Busso managed by the former matchmaker here at St. Nicholas Arena, also assistant matchmaker under the late Mike Jacobs, Mr. Jack Zunk Serlin. Here is Orlando Zulueta, now living in New York City, came to this country in 1949, turned professional in Cuba in 1946, where he stopped his first opponent in Havana. Since then, he has scored only 5 other knockouts in 92 professional fights. Let's watch round 9. And the 9th is underway. Busso, the underdog in black. Zulueta favored in white. Zulueta has not used his right hand much tonight. His best punches have been left shots to the body and left hooks to the head. Busso is a two-fisted 21-year-older. Zulueta warned for punching low. 1 minute. Good right hand by Busso. Another. Ten seconds. Once again in the corner of Busso, getting a severe test tonight. His stiffest opponent to date prior to this bout. The most formidable foe was Dennis Pat Brady. Busso at 138.5 pounds is really pared down. We recall having him in preliminary bouts where he weighed 144.5. Here is Zulueta, who stays around about the same weight at 139.5, a boy just back from Milan, Italy, where he fought Freddie Galliani and also a losing battle to Dulio Loy. He's headed back to Europe very soon. Well, round 10 will have a lot to do about what the future brings, and let's watch it. Round 10 underway here at St. Nick's. This is the final heat. Zulueta now really seriously beginning to stalk Busso. Busso in black, now backpedaling. He's had a beautiful right cross in this bout. A minute to go in this bout. 1 minute. "30 seconds till the end." Beautiful shots by Busso. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there you see Johnny Busso, a young warrior cut over both eyes in the second round, who hit with amazing accuracy with the combination punches, a good right hand, which was crossed over a left hook thrown by Zulueta throughout the bout. Zulueta unmarked except for a swollen area above his left eye. For Zulueta, this was his 93rd professional bout. For Johnny Busso of Manhattan, it was his 30th professional start. Youth, speed against savvy, the veteran, Zulueta. There is Orlando, one of the nicest fellows we've had the pleasure of talking to in the ring, and Busso is a boy that's developing a great deal of poise in conversations. Artie Schwartz judging on the left. Frank Forbes was the judge on the right. The referee was Davy Feld. Deputy Commissioner Pat Callahan now checking and verifying the scorecards as turned in by the three officials here at America's oldest fight club. And while we have a chance, this is Chris Schenkel reminding you that a week from tonight, hard-hitting Charlie King Cotton of Toledo, Ohio, has as his opponent Joey Giardello here at St. Nicholas Arena. 2 weeks from tonight, Rory Calhoun and Randy Sandy. That is Commissioner Callahan with the spectacles, checking with Johnny Addie as to the scoring. Johnny now with the 3 cards, and we're just about ready to get the verdict here. And Johnny has it.
Referee Davy Feld scores a 6-4 in favor of Johnny Busso. Judge Artie Schwartz, 6-3, 1 even in favor of Busso. Judge Frank Forbes, 6-4 in favor of Zulueta. Winner by majority vote, Johnny Busso.
And so the winner of this feature bout between Johnny Busso and Orlando Zulueta is Busso.